Hey guys, welcome to Factoring Trinomials Day 1. Okay, so this is a lesson on how to turn a polynomial into its factored form. And just a reminder, factoring is really undoing distributing. Now, the other day we did this in class where we did the guess and check method. Some of you didn't like that. You thought it was hard. So this video is for you. If you understood the guess and check method yesterday, you don't have to do it this way. Okay, this is just another option for you guys. Okay. So when factoring a polynomial, you make a multiply add table. All right, and you need to find two numbers that add to the middle term. Okay, so the middle term here is 12. So you're going to add to 12, but then multiply to the product of the first and last. So you're going to multiply 1 times 32, and that's 32. Okay, find those numbers. What are two numbers that multiply to 32 but add to 12? Okay, and however you guys want to do it, you end up getting 8 and 4. Okay, now once you have your numbers, give them each a variable. So if these are all k's, it's going to be 8k and 4k. Just give them each a variable. And then what you're going to do is you're going to plug them in here to replace the middle term. Okay, so watch this now. Instead of writing it as k squared plus 12k, you're going to replace the 12 with the 8k plus the 4k, and then you're going to finish off with the 32. All right, and now you guys have 4 terms which you know how to factor by grouping. We did this like last week. All right, so remember, factor by grouping is you pair them off and you pull out the GCF of each. All right, so out of these two guys, the GCF is 1k. And if you divide that out, you're left with 1k plus 8. Now, I'm assuming that you remember how to do this. Now, these guys, the GCF, you're going to pull out a positive 4. And if you divide each term by 4, you get k plus 8. And then, remember, these should be the same. And you take that out. And the second parenthesis is the stuff that was left over, 1k plus 4. Okay, this would be the same answer that you would have got with yesterday's lesson, but it's a more structured way if you needed it. All right, let's try one more, number 2. So if you didn't understand the guess and check, we're going to do an MA table. So we need two numbers that add to the middle, so 2, but multiply to the product of the first times the last, which is negative 24. You got to multiply those. All right, find those numbers. Give me two numbers that multiply to negative 24, but add to 2. And this might take a little bit of work. If you need help, make a list. So 24 could be 24 and 1. It could be 8 and 3. It could be 4 and 6. It could be 12 and 2. Now, one of them's got to be negative. So where could we put a negative sign so that they would add to 2? I'm thinking maybe right here. Negative 4 and 6. Do you guys agree? Those are our two numbers? Okay, then We give them each a variable. Since these are x's, we're going to give them both an x. And we're going to plug them in to replace the middle term. So now, it's 3x squared minus 4x plus 6x and then minus 8. Okay, so you're replacing the middle term. All right, now that we have 4 terms, we can factor by grouping. All right, so factor by grouping. Okay, so these guys, I think the only thing we can take out is a 1x. And if you divide by everything by 1x, you're left with 3x minus 4. Okay, then a plus sign. 6 and 8 have a GCF of 2. So if you divide out a 2, you're left with 3x minus 4. And then remember, if you did it right, see how they both have a 3x minus 4? We're going to take that out. And then the second parenthesis is the leftovers, 1x plus 2. All right, so that is how to factor if you do not like guess and check. All right, feel free to stop, but I'm going to do one more in case anybody wanted one more. Okay, and I'm going to do number 4 here. Here we go. Okay, last one if you need it. So start by making an MA table. We need 2 numbers that add to the middle, -7, but multiply to 2 times 3, which is 6. So can you guys find 2 numbers that multiply to 6 but add to -7? Okay, so it's either 3 times 2 or 6 times 1, but if they're going to multiply to a positive but add to a negative, I think they both have to be negative. And then I think we got it here, -6 and -1. Okay, give them both an x, and they're going to replace the middle term. All right, so we're at 2x squared minus 6x minus 1x and then plus 3. Okay, so we just replace the middle term, and now we can factor by grouping since we have 4 terms. All right, so the GCF of these guys is 2x, and if you divide that out of both, you're left with 1x minus 3. Okay, then remember you have to bring down the minus sign. These guys have no GCF, so when that happens, just pull out a 1. All right, if we divide everything by -1, a minus becomes a plus 1x, and then 3 divided by -1 is -3. Okay, it looks like we did it right because we have a common parenthesis, so that becomes one of them. And then the other one becomes the leftovers, 2x minus 1. All right, thanks for watching, guys. We have a couple days now to practice the skill.